Afternoon, how are you all doing? Sorry I'm late. I've been recording you a bootcamp. Trying to. God, it's hard work trying to get 12 hours into 1 hour, half an hour. I don't know how much video I've got at the moment, but a lot of it. There's no way this is fitting in a half an hour. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Everybody hear me okay? Because I'm using this mic because it's clearer for recording. So hopefully you can hear me and it's not coming through in a crazy manner. Afternoon, Stevie. Afternoon, Marion. Gold afternoon to you too. Afternoon, Diamond. Afternoon, John. Joaquim, Alex, Brian, Mr. Chris. Don't know why I said that in an Indian accent, but I did. Alex, Martin, Satan's flip-flop. Sound is good. Excellent. Thomas, afternoon. Right. I've been talking for the last 2.5 hours trying to get this bootcamp done. There's so much information in the bootcamp. It's virtually impossible to get it into any understandable format. So, fried cat thyroid futures. Afternoon, Tim. Fried cat thyroid futures. I just know if I look that up, it's going to be a thing, isn't it? How am I doing? Let's get gold, boys. Okay, let's get it. Let's get gold. Let's get it. Not yet. It's not ready. Oh, wrong one. Not ready. It's up at the highs. Short it. You changed the way I see trading. Thanks. Do you have an account growth of 144% in 1 week? Marion, you're gambling. But hey, take it. Just stop gambling. It won't last. 144% in 1 week. That's compounding. Compounding works, but short term. Right. Quickly, before the market opens, we've got 6 minutes. We've just had news on the CAD and the US dollar PCE. So the CAD came out as positive GDP month on month, only just 0.5 instead of a 0.4, still positive. And the PCE index for the US dollar came out as a negative 0.3 by 1 percentile as well. So it's a 1 percentile hit up and a 1 percentile hit down. So for CAD, it's positive, and US, it's negative. So that means what happens to the US dollar CAD? Nothing. Didn't really do much. It looked like it was going to have a little push, but it hasn't. We're just basically sitting around doing absolutely nothing. So that was your news. Nothing particularly exciting. We have got Chicago PMIs coming out at 15 minutes after the open. So you might want to be a bit careful on the open today. I don't think we're going to sit around and wait for that, and especially not going to wait for the University of Michigan revised sentiment. So I think we're probably okay to go on the opening range breakout, but I'm always cautious when there's news just after the open because we do tend to get some sideways. So I haven't even looked at this account today. I took a load of trades on the Fidelcrest evaluation. That DAX from this morning I'm still in. It's nearly at stop loss. But hopefully the markets collapse this afternoon. That would be nice. I might bank some of this actually. What have I got to do? I can't. Target's 5%, isn't it? 2.5 grand. So I can bank. What have I got to bank? 2.5 grand. I can bank $200, $300, $400. I'll just leave it running for the minute. It's an evaluation. I'll just let it run. So yeah, US dollar CAD, still looking for that push up, but this thing's just not having it today, is it? So ADRs today, we've only got the one, Aussie dollar, US dollar. That was an ADR hit to the downside, M5 reversal alert, flew up, job done. Oh, target hit. I was in this, I'm out. On the other account. Oh, there you go. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Exit. There we go. Banked. I knew I was in it. I was just talking about it, literally just talking about it, trying to record that bootcamp. And I was like, where's that trade gone? Excellent. It's true. I deposited $230 and made a profit of 333. The lots were 0.1 to 0.5s. Ah, that's why. So you're position trading with $233 and you can't get small risk on. So you're not going to have much choice but to grow the account fast. And you'll get to a point where it will stop doing that. But job done. Like it. Afternoon, Luke. Afternoon, Rahul. Afternoon, Brian. Which EA are you using for Fidelcrest? I'm not allowed to use EAs for Fidelcrest. Afternoon, Ignatius. Market is going crazy. Maybe something big is coming on the weekend. Is it? Uh, 2 minutes before the open. Market's not going crazy, is it? What's going crazy? Do you mean the Dow's just, this is just pre-market pop. End of month crazy moves. Yeah, so today is, that brings me nicely on, thank you, Chris, to today is the end of the month. So Friday afternoons at the end of the month, one of two things. And looking at where we are at the moment, I'm suspecting possibly the latter, but one of two things happens. We either have a very flat session, nothing happens because they've unwound all their positions. So this is end of quarter and end of month, right? So when you think about the quarterly, the moving averages that we use, yeah, monthly and quarterly moving averages. There's your quarterly, there's your monthly. Today is the end of the monthly and quarterly reporting periods. So this is when the traders try and get themselves into the most favorable position to get commissions. So what we often find is on the run up to the end of quarter, end of month, this is a big old pre-market open today. Don't take the pre-market. Well, you can do if you want to, but that's big. This is the Dow, not the NASDAQ. Yeah, so I'm playing the Dow now, not the NASDAQ. So this is a big move for the Dow on one candle. Look at that whip on the news. So we quite often will get a big, strong move. They will basically, what they'll be doing is they'll be piling out of their positions. So they'll be basically, same as I would do, yeah? Look at your P&L. Right, guys, it's the end of the month, it's the end of the quarter. Bank everything you've got. Everything green, get it in the bank, get it in the P&L, because if you don't get it in the P&L, you ain't getting paid on it. So we get a flurry of movement, and often we get big ADRs. So it either is flat because they've already done that, and they're where they want to be, or this afternoon goes nuts. So we'll see what happens. The Dow, pre-market 15, we're popping. We'll watch this, and this will give us an indication because we could well get a nice, big, strong day on the indices as well as they pile out their stock positions. So we'll see what happens. But ADRs so far, we've literally had Aussie dollar, US dollar, and that one's already played out in profit. I've banked it already. So that one's done. RSIs, nothing's changed. So we're literally sitting on 4-hour yen RSIs, and that's it. So there's nothing to look at. It's dead. So trigger's pulled. It's either going to go or it's not. We'll find out. Let's watch the NASDAQ as well. So this is your 5-minute opening range going in. NASDAQ is not doing a lot. Oh, look at that. So you've got very weird reversal alert patterns because of you've got a whipsaw that makes a high. So this, when you see this orange, double orange box, what it means is one candle has made a new high and made a new low and pulled back within the range so that it triggers the next drawing of the reversal alert indicator. So what it's saying is, I've no idea where we're going, but whichever way we go on a reversal alert next, go that way. It's like a breakout, basically. So just watch it when you see things like that because it means it's been a news event. So NASDAQ's sitting in the range as well. So there's your range at the moment on the 5-minute. Villeroy is talking at the moment as well. Because of the time lag between rate hikes, a significant impact is still to come. Union plans to make it easy to wind down medium-sized banks. FDIC taps advisors to sell SVB signature bank portfolios. Quarter point Fed hike. Okay, so there's no other news. Basically, there's news coming out of Europe as well. So might be an exciting one today. Afternoon, Themba. End of month crazy moves. Yep, hopefully. So all I'm doing with my Fiddle Crest, just to show you what I'm doing. You're not allowed to use EAs. So what I've done is something really clever. Yeah, you like this? I went through all the pairs and I used the RSI to identify instruments that were extended, and I took a trade on them. Highly complex strategy. So the Aussie dollar CAD, I went long because there was a whacking great target to the upside, and we're at a double bottom. We've had a reverse alert and retest, and we were extended on the RSI. So I went long. You'll be very surprised to hear what I'm doing. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, I went long because we extended on the hourly RSI at support. I went long. There's a whacking great target to aim for up there and there. It's not rocket science. You don't have to use an EA to position trade, you know. Risk is 0.5% on what was I risking? 0.5% on half an ADR. So it's slightly more aggressive than 0.25% on half an ADR. So this is quite aggressive. There's no time limits on Fiddle Crest. So in theory, what I'm saying is I'm going to do 0.5% risk on half an ADR. If we can get a 1 ADR move on 5 instruments, I've passed. So I'm being aggressive. So yeah, that's the play basically. But I'm not doing anything complex with it. I can't use EAs. So basically H1 RSI extension short, targets to the downside. So all I'm doing is I'm always looking for targets. New Zealand dollar yen, yeah, downside targets. As long as there's areas down here to aim for, I'm short on the RSI extension. If I get an RSI extension and I can't see anything obvious down there to aim for, or we're not at an obvious level of resistance or support, I won't take it. So it's basically position trading. But my stop up there is about $800. So I'm factoring in enough room to take a second entry around about half an ADR away. If I get into 3, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble, I think. So but I'm basically trying to position trade it. Hybrid. It works. I've done it many times with my Forex funds. But again, market conditions. It's not down to me. Afternoon, Dereska. 67 people in here. Let's get some thumbs up if you haven't already. Nasdaq's retesting the highs. I would love this to collapse today. So I'm trading the 5-minute ORB, which is there on the Dow. So we'll see what happens. I'll tell you what I might do as well. No, I don't. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to flick over onto the other Fiddlecrest account. Whoa. What's this? 420. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flick over to the other Fiddlecrest account, and I'm going to position. I'm going to trade the Dow. Trade the opening range breakout manually. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to be fairly quick on this. What is the opening range? 7418. So 7418. Lot size is going to be 3.25. Okay, let's do a manual ORB. So high and low. It's there. Afternoon, Stephen. Afternoon, Kennelly. Afternoon, Alan. Not particularly lighting up the house, is it? So yeah, so basically this I've been recording basically this morning. Look, here's my recordings, right? So I'm trying to get the boot camp. Afternoon, Stephen. Alan, where can I find the link to yesterday's video? YouTube. Gold to the moon. YouTube, Alan. Just go to videos. Stop buying trading courses. That one. Yeah, so the boot camp, as you know, is 10 or 12 hours. I can never remember how long it is. So I'm trying to just grab what I think are the important bits of the boot camp and compact them into one video where people can just get a full understanding of what position trading is, how you do it, why you do it, what the advantages are, what the disadvantages are, how to do drawdown control, how to scale in, all about the indicators, all about the EA, just so that everyone can kind of grab it. Look at the spread on this thing as well. It's not very good, is it? The only trouble with Feudal Crest, the spread's it's fixed, but it's wide. So I've managed to get this many videos done. So these are just segments. And at the moment, I'm sitting at 1 minute, 2 minutes, so that's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 22, 26, 33, 37, 47, 1 hour 5, and another 20 minutes. That's 1.5 hours I've got of recordings, and obviously there was more than that because I screwed up a load. I was just like, no, that's not right. So I'm up to 1.5 hours, and I haven't finished. So I don't think it's possible to get the boot camp down into a manageable size. I really don't. If I get to this, I've got 2 more sections at least I think I need to cover in there that are critical. And they're going to be good 10 or 20 minutes each. So this is going to be like 2.5 hour video of position trading. You're better off watching the boot camp. It's 4 times longer than what I'm going to create. I just can't do it. So, yeah. But why do you want to do it? Real traders spend years to learn trading. Just to give people a quick... The problem is, Dabas. So I have to try my eyes. We're still within the 5-minute opening range on the Dow. The trouble is, I'm just going to put orders in the market, basically. The trouble is, people watch the first video of the bootcamp about halfway through, which is me explaining in a nutshell what position trading is and then saying, give us a bit of time. They get onto the first bit and they skip straight to the strategies, which is day 5. They miss everything important. So I'm trying to put something together which is like, just give me this amount of time and I'll explain everything in a little bit more detail. Long on the Dow. but I can't do it. I just can't get a video together that seems to do it. So yeah, it's just trying to, I don't know why I'm doing it. Just to make it easy for people. But yeah, like you just said, like someone just said, if you can't be asked to watch the 10-hour course, which is free, should I really be trying to help you? Probably not. It's fine the way it is. Yeah, I know it is, but I just, just trying to help the idiots, to be fair. I think it's for me just to reiterate it, because certain things have changed slightly. The way that I trade has changed slightly from when I recorded the bootcamp. So not a lot, but if someone gave me a metric ton of gold, don't complain about the weight. That's a good one. I like that, Hamza. I like that. I'm going to use that if I can remember it. Do it anyway. You've nearly completed it now. I need a refresher. I have nearly completed it. The trouble is, I've got to watch it. The problem is, right, what people don't realize, when like that video I released yesterday, yeah, it's 20 minutes, 25 minutes long, 2.5 hours to make that, because I don't just sit here and go, and actually that one, that was all from the live room. It was me just talking. But you don't just sit here and go, right, blah, blah, blah. It all comes out perfect. You cock it up 50 times before you actually get the version that you think, right, that makes sense. I got into 1 minute ago and I was like 15 minutes into it and I was like, where the hell am I going with this? I've just done a video on this. And, you just stop and you go, right, that's wasted 15 minutes of my time. And then I've got to get all these videos and I've got to edit them together, cut bits out. It'll take me a day to edit it. So it's like there's so much work goes in behind the scenes that you don't see. Like the one yesterday, which was 25 minutes long, that was pre-recorded from the live room. It still took me an hour to edit that thing together and watch it. I've got to watch it as well to make sure it actually makes sense. This Dow's rejecting the highs. I'm just going to pull my stop up underneath the propulsion gap because I don't like it. So it's not a clean open. I think we might be waiting for the 15-minute news on the PMIs, which is now, actually. Sorry, PMIs just come out. Positive. So that should be negative index, potentially. NASDAQ still pushing out the highs. Not very convincing, though, I have to say. We'll see. I am long, so we'll see. That means the DAX is probably pushing up as well, which is not good from the other account, but oh no, the DAX is coming down. Everything's out of whack today. Did your H1 trading strategy open 2 positions on GU today? No, 1. In there, out there. Wouldn't take 2. It'd only take 1. That was just straight in, straight out. Beautiful. Look at that. H1 RSI extension. Pop. Out. Done. Thank you very much. Next. Are you showing your face or I just see someone else in my screen? Me. Is this your first time in here, Themba, since I've had face cam? I've been doing this for about a week now. Me. Well, ICT takes 2 lifetimes, so yours should be a cinch. Don't kiss a gift horse in the mouth. That sounds slobbery. Dow's going out long again. There's your 15-minute opening range, which is basically just above the 5. So all we've done is 2 inside bars. It's not actually really managing to get out the highs today. So we're just rejecting the highs. This is the Globex high from today. It's rejecting, which is why I'm not convinced this is a long, which is why I'm reducing risk by 50%-ish. Got a feeling we might short it today. If it's a long video, just add timestamps. Yeah, I know, it's just it's the making the video. That's the thing. Yeah, ICT, I can't remember how far I got into ICT. I do remember, and it's no slight on ICT before people go and start beating ICT up. I just fell asleep in some of it because I just found it's probably his voice. He's got a very calming voice, and I was watching it, trying to concentrate and just like nodding off because it's quite technical stuff as well, isn't it? Having to understand some of it is quite complex. I just couldn't get my head around it at all. I did, but I didn't. It just wasn't right for me. Nasdaq's out the highs, so make what you will of this today. It's not really got any directional bias at the minute. Nasdaq's trying to go long, so if we're going long on the Nas, I think we're out the highs, aren't we? We are. So ADR and above. There's not really any obvious targets on the Nasdaq. That's a previous news high, which is over ADR. Apart from that, we've got nothing to the upside on the Nasdaq that we can literally use as a target. So if this thing is going to break out and not fail the highs, we could be off to the moon today. So that is approximately 153 points, just over half an ADR move to the upside. Dow is rejecting though. Look at those wicks. There he comes. Any views on oil waiting for 77 to short? I'm looking to long it. So yeah, if it gets up to 77, I'm looking basically 77. Yeah, I mean that's a good spot to short it. So if we do get up into this propulsion gap, ADR short from there. I'm personally trying to get a pullback entry long, so that would be a good short. But I'm long bias at the minute on it, so this is a nightmare today. Look. Why did this look yesterday, right? What did we do in here? Nasdaq. I said this thing's a nightmare. It just goes crazy and it's volatile and I don't like it. The Dow yesterday went, I'm taking an opening range break. Yeah, and the Nasdaq just went, what's happening today? The Dow's going, I'm just going to go to sleep, and the Nasdaq's popping. Just shows nothing to do with strategy, totally to do with instrument and randomness, whether you make money. If you took the ORB on the Nasdaq, you're in the money. If you took the ORB like I did on the Dow, you're sitting at break even. Yesterday, it was totally the opposite. Complete random. That's why the edge is there. The opening range breakout EA edge there is no edge. It's just you grab those massive runners when they come and you bank them. The rest of the time, you hope that you can get a decent small loss day. That's the edge. It's just random market movement. Dow's now attempting new highs. I've got a really bad spread on Robo Forex as well. For some reason, there's a big spread on both the indices today, look, across all the brokers. Don't know why that is. But yeah, oil. Yeah, ADR short looks good. Be extended on the hourly. We already extended on the hourly. So by the time you get an ADR hit, you'll be above 75 on the hourly, which would be a good shorting opportunity. But you are fighting that trend. So just be careful. You're not necessarily going to get a big pullback. Could be a tiny pullback like that. So just target half an ADR, quarter of an ADR maybe, or quarter of an ADR, and then maybe reduce risk. I was zoomed in on the RSI and you just changed to webcam. You've already got my chin. What's up with the Dow? Not a lot, unfortunately. It's thinking about it. We're up in the gods on the Dow as well. Look. So this propulsion gap is target. Look. Again, ADR. So there's an ADR move to the upside. We've got all these gap fills on the DAX though. So yeah, don't know. Upside target is ADR, same as it is on the Nasdaq, basically. To the moon. Or not. Doing anything, is it? I was talking about H1 hedging strategy. I set up as per video of yours, and it's open to buy and to sell. Yeah, it will do, Dabas. If you're, sorry, the H1 hedging strategy. Pound, which one was it? Pound US dollar, did you say? Dabas. EU, yeah. 2 shorts. Not in order. No, so I've got 2 shorts on. Hasn't taken a long. Closed a long out there. So it took a short there, and I've taken a second short there. Oh, wrong one. Okay, we're at the highs on the Dow. We're off, finally. And the Nasdaq's pushing as well. Slightly. Struggling though, isn't it? Nothing's got any legs. Afternoon, CAC-V. US 30 looking like a sell. Could be. Certainly looks like a sell there. It doesn't look like a sell now, though. That looks like a sell. Have you ever looked into only taking reversal alerts on 15 or 5-minute charts in the same direction as the alert of the daily chart? Doing very well. Yeah. You can use that daily. So that's a little bit like the H4 M15 strategy in the this one here. So no, I don't know, it's in there somewhere. Yeah, so this is the higher time frame strategy. So This is a take on the, so basically using higher time frame reversal alert, and then obviously lower time frame, just taking those. I haven't position traded that strategy though, because sometimes you find by the time you get your alert within the direction of the higher time frame, it's ready to pull back. So I don't know. I prefer to use RSI because the relative strength gives you that, you know, the banks have pushed and are ready to pull, whereas directional, that's more trend based. And I'd rather use on trend, I'd rather use the higher time frame moving average. I'm going to scrap this. I don't like that long. It's not making any headway. I'm going short. It's a long way to ADR, isn't it? I was toying with the idea of position trading this, but it's such a long way to ADR. The initial position is going to cost me $1,000. Far too much. I'm going to use a stop. Give myself a decent move, and then I'll add on a break. I may add on a break the propulsion gap. Try and scalp it out. Are you familiar with order block trading? Well, that's ICT stuff, isn't it? Yeah, I'm familiar with it, but I don't really follow it. I did a bit of the course and just market structure. I know market structure. I don't need order blocks to tell me which way the direction of the market's going. So it's just the same stuff really as I do. This is a lot of this indicator here used to be called the order block breaker indicator, but it's not an order block. It's not what, it's kind of similar to what he teaches, I think, isn't it? But it's just basically a market structure reversal alert. So it's the same, this does the same sort of thing. Am I using a Prime account with Robo Forex? Just an ECN. Prime account, there's not a lot of difference between the Prime account and the other one. There's so many account types for Robo Forex, but there's not a lot of difference to the Prime. I'm not on the Prime. I think I've got a Prime one. This is the beauty of Robo Forex. You can just press buttons and sign up for as many accounts as you like. It's really good. Do you long? I'm out my short. So you can go long. You can have it long because I've had it short. You know where the depositors put their cash that pulled out of SVB? No. I don't. Read the news. I would recommend those who got burnt by SVB to invest in Crocs. Comfortable feet, great returns. As worn by John Wick himself, although they're not Crocs. US 30 is playing with my feelings today, trying to set up, but not happening. No, I'm short, and I'm just going to sit in it short because it looks short. Mr. Wick. There's more Mr. Wicks to the upside than there is to the downside. So if Mr. Wick is short, I shall take him short. Oh, it's Friday. Yeah, I know. We might get a big move today. This is why I'm kind of keen to try and get on a move if we can, because it's the last Friday of the month and the last Friday of the quarter, and potentially they might unload a load this afternoon. I was expecting it to be out of the open, but we haven't got it, so it might be flat. We've got UOM at 3. Oh, we just had it. 62. Doesn't mean anything. Not really going anywhere, is it, though? I'm more interested in what the DAX doing because I'm in drawdown on the DAX on the Fidelcrest account. So 4-hour Nasdaq chart makes me want to look for shorts. I don't really pay much attention to RSI on indices because the indices are driven differently. It's not so much manipulation, it's more stock and sector purchases. So obviously it's a measurement of extension and typically you get profit takes. So it does work in the same way, but I never pay much attention to it because I don't position trade indices. So I never pay much attention. But yeah, it's nicely extended at the minute, and we've just taken out that liquidity at the highs. So this is what I mean. We could get one of those or a couple of those in that sort of move today in New York as they just basically unload everything they need to unload and take profit. So all the stock purchases they've made, if they want to liquidate that, yeah, and turn it green, they need to get out of their positions. But at the minute, we're really struggling to get anywhere. Nasdaq struggling at the highs as well. So it is all looking very, very bearish. So we need to see if these propulsion gaps hold up. Yeah. If we run these over, we're coming out the lows, I reckon. And if we're coming out the lows, I'm going to add and try and get a run to the downside. If primer accounts have lower spread, prime accounts you pay more commission on, don't you? I think the prime accounts are higher commission. So the reason I'm not bothered about spread with the majority, I don't scalp on these, I scalp on my prop. So because I position trade on my Robo Forex account, spreads are irrelevant to me. Lower commission is better for me. I don't care about the spread. Scalping you would. But these are bigger than normal at the moment for some reason today, and they're fixed as well, which is a bit weird. Euro Swiss breaking the lows. Oh yes, we're off. Or trying to anyway. We haven't yet. I'll be banking that in a minute. 35 pips, which is pretty much in a minute. Mitchell, hope you're doing well. Why is your account 4,500 in drawdown? Because that's the positions I've got on. The question you should be asking is why is it 16%, £16,000 in profit? Because it's in that. That's what that risk is. That risk turns into that. All this stuff over here waits to go green, and then it gets deposited in the bank. Then I draw the bank out, go and spend it on the wife. Well, that's basically why I'm in drawdown. Afternoon, Ike. Go and watch the bootcamp, Mitchell. There's a link just gone in the chat to the bootcamp, and there's going along the bottom. Oh, wrong one. Far enough. Whoa, not 55. Whoa, that was dangerous. Oh my God, I can't operate a mouse today. All right, bear with me 1 sec. Easter bunny cake. Can you see that? Oh, lucky, look. It's Easter. Looks like a pair of boobs. Right, back to trading. What was I doing? Just in my stop. 33055. Okay, so I'm going to add on this reversal alert. And I'm going to add if we get the OLB. So getting a bit aggressive. Got to go yet though. Easter bunny cake for 15k. She's a better trader than me, yeah. Where is it? Chat, sorry. That's the beauty of position trading. What a lucky woman. Do you take into consideration the retail sentiments for indices? No. The trouble with sentiment is you can do it. So if you look at the sentiment on IG, for example, for the indices, so this is the Dow. Obviously, it's the same as everything else. When the retail market shorts it, it goes long. When the retail market goes long, it goes short. When the retail market shorts it, long, they go long, short. They go short, long, etc., etc. But look at the movement. When the retail market is shorting it, it takes days. So the sentiment on this, I think, is it's more, I think, retail just getting it wrong because they're more intraday on it rather than position trading or longer term trading or swing trading the indices. So I'm not sure it has as much impact, to be honest, as normal sentiment on FX pairs, which is a little bit more, I think you can more rely on it. So because you've got futures with you, the futures market in stocks is again not as reliable. I wouldn't rely on the futures positioning on the S&P 500 as being necessarily as much speculative, and the volumes tend to be a lot smaller than FX as well. So I just don't. There's 28 FX pairs. There's so much to use within FX. I don't think you need to. That's coming down nicely. Second short on. Not quite. Still not quite. Now I'm on. Okay, too short. We haven't covered any analysis this afternoon, but Aussie dollar US dollar was the only RSI extension that obviously paid out. I did cover it, didn't I? Yeah, Aussie US. So that was the RSI, sorry, the ADR extension. That was a lovely little long, straight in, straight out. We've got nothing still on the RSIs, just the 4-hour yens, which are all kind of working today. Yens are a bit weird today. Look, big wicks, kind of inside bar indecision, looks a little bit like a flag. So I'm not too sure on these yens at the minute. We are basically contracting, which worries me, because we might contract and then pop again. Because some of these, obviously, we've still got upside on them, back up to the propulsion highs. So yeah, it's back up to here. So I'm worried we might get another leg on these. Not worried, but I just would be nice if it just did a little profit take. Oh my God, look at the wicks on the NASDAQ. Mitchell, I just buy and hold S&P 500 and recently been trying to find an FX or equity strategy that will outperform. I've got one. There's a strategy on the website for it, on the EA. Set files and test results. S&P 500 strategy. There you go. S&P 500 strategy. Market reversal alerts EA. 22% return. There you go. Update 13th of December 2021. That's a long time in the future, isn't it? 62% return. That's basically my pension strategy on the S&P. But this strategy works beautifully in a bull calm market. Yeah. So the S&P strategy for the market reversal alert CA is designed to work in bull calm, which is this. So the vast majority of the time, that is what we spend our time in. Yeah, we spend our time in a bull calm market. Then we have the odd bull calm, bull calm, bull calm. Yeah, lovely big bull calm. Bear volatile. Doesn't work here. So I'm waiting at the moment to reactivate the EA because it makes a beautiful return. You put 100 grand in there, you'll have anywhere between 20 to 60% return with that. And literally, it's an M15 position trade with the market reverse alert CA, literally in line with trend. Simple as that. Very similar to what Warren Buffett does. Yeah, he buys the S&P. You know the terminology, buy the dip? That's exactly it. So simple. But it's traded off the daily chart. But I'm waiting for us to confirm that we're back in a sort of bear calm market. And if you look at the ADRs at the moment, sorry, ATRs at the moment. So if you look where we are in a sort of a bear calm market, we have the odd blip, but the average is there. This is actually the NASDAQ. I trade the S&P, so there. Yeah, so there's your average. And then obviously we went nuts here and our average jumped by 50%. So I'm waiting for the average to return, and we are. Look, if you look at it, actually, it is coming down. So we're getting back to where I think we might be starting to come back into this, which is great. And then I'll turn the EA back on and it will just start to buy the dips again. But that's not a convincing break. That isn't a convincing break of that. we've got to get up above here, really. So if we have another run up at that and fail, yeah, all we're doing is basically that. That's not a trend. That's just a mess, isn't it? So I need this to stabilize. It's not at the moment. Bear volatile. We're still up at 66 ADR, 61 at the moment. When we're back here, we're looking at figures sort of down in the 40s, 30s. Yeah, the odd spike goes up to 90 odd. So until this is really stabilized, and I thought it was starting to happen there, and then we had a pop again. So it's just not right at the minute. It's not, I've got this feeling we've still got another leg, look. Yeah, this is COVID. That's the COVID recovery. Yeah. This is the time when all the stock market was losing money, and yet stocks went up. This is why we're crashing now, because they pumped the crap out of stock prices while the businesses were making losses. Not worth it. So their businesses aren't worth it. So they all start selling off because they're making negative returns. I think we've got to get back here. We almost did. And then we started to rally this year. So this is September. So this was the final earnings quarter. Sorry, December was the final earnings quarter. There was the final earnings quarter, and it started to rally, but we didn't make a new high. I don't think we've got. I think we've got another leg. I think the legs basically are going to go like this. Then I think we'll be able to rally from here. This is where we had the blip on the way up, and I think this is where we're going to get the blip on the way down before we rally again. But we're not there yet. We could take another year. We're still possibly talking about recession, aren't we? So, oh God. NASDAQ hasn't made a reversal alert. It's trying to push higher. Look at the wicks. There's your closes and there's your indecision. So there's your propulsion cap buy. So the buyers came in, pushed up, adding to their positions. So we'll see if they get run over. If they get run over, we're going to come out the lows. And then it's a case of, are we going to find the buyers down there and just go into rotation day? Or are we actually going to get that trend on? Who knows? Brian, thinking of opening a new account Monday and just let an EA run on it. The highest leverage I can get is 50 to 1. Any thoughts on which one would work with that leverage? I mean, anything with a stop will work with that leverage, obviously. I mean, the opening range breakout EA will work on that leverage, but that's a long-term return. I would want to position trade, but 50 to 1 is not enough to position trade. You need at least 100 to 1 because you've got to be able to get the full size on. But if you need to get the full size on, you're in trouble. So it's tricky. You could run one strategy on it. So if you so the H4 mean reversion, yeah. So this account here, this one, yeah. So this has done 7% this month. Maximum drawdown I've seen this month has been 1.4 or 1.5, something like that. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So this hasn't gone into drawdown at all. You could have easily returned 14% by using 0.5 risk on half an ADR instead of 0.25. And you would have gone into something like 3% drawdown to 4% drawdown on the account, which is nothing. And you can definitely do that within 50 to 1. But at the moment, we've had a very, very calm March. So we haven't had many RSI extensions on the 4-hour. But obviously the 4-hour mean reversion strategy is so much safer to trade because you are getting in after a very strong move. So the mean reversion is so much more likely to happen faster, which is why these are all sitting in 2 positions. You don't get into many more. You will get into 3s and 4s on a squeeze, but this is the safest strategy to run, H4M15, or this is H4M5, which is this has been my bread and butter for years. But it's low return. But then again, if you've got a low return on a 100K account, that's a big return, isn't it? So it's all relative. But you could run this on 50 to 1, probably. But if you got to a point where it was squeezed and you ran out of margin, you can't get any more trades on, you're stuffed. You've got to really just sit there and hold on and hope. And I've done back tests for hold on and hope. They don't end well. So try and get more leverage is what I would say. Go and use Robo Forex. If you're in the UK, use Robo Forex. You get 500 to 1. As Hans has just said, Hanko Trade or CoinEx in the US. You can probably trade with them as well. Propulsion Gap's holding on the Dow at the moment. I should be listening. We should be listening to Tick Strike, shouldn't we? I don't think Tick Strike's going to be doing much today, to be honest, because this isn't doing much, is it? Bit of a dull session. Nasdaq's holding the highs as well. Hasn't even got down there yet. If that breaks, we've got a test on the lows, almost definitely. XNES 2,000 to 1. Yeah, with Robo Forex I can get 1,000 to 1, but why do you need it? 100 to 1 leverage basically means you can get leveraged on the entire account. Anything more than that is just a waste, total waste. 500 to 1 leverage, pointless. But 200 to 1 is pointless. 100 to 1 is all you need. But 500 to 1 is super, super, super safe. So I would need to get pretty much fully exposed to 100% loss on my account with a 50% margin call to get shut down. I.e. put 10 grand in. If I was in 9,990 in drawdown, I'd still be trading with 100 to 1 leverage. You just don't need any more. But take 500 to 1 because it doesn't make any difference. You know, it's like saying, I don't know, I'm going to travel around the world in my spaceship. I can either go at 1,000 miles an hour or 10,000 miles an hour. Doesn't matter. I'm going around in a circle. Speed is irrelevant, isn't it? I can get leveraged on my entire account, or I can get leveraged on my entire account 4 times over. You can only bust it once. So just take whatever they give you. But 100 to 1 or more, ideally. But if you're going to use any type of stop loss strategy, 30 to 1 works, doesn't it? Because you're going to get stopped out all the time. You're never going to get the 30 to 1 leverage on because you'll be losing money constantly. And pointless. Dow's testing the gap. We might get a pop out the lows here. DAX is going nowhere. RoboFox is excellent, but not available to us in the USA. Right, okay. Afternoon, Damilola. Damilola David. Is that David Damilola or is it Damilola David? Or both? Come on, do something. Has anybody got any other FX pairs they want to look at while we're waiting for paint to dry? Not the most exciting stream in the world today, is it? Am I in the Dow? Yeah, sure. I was long. I closed the long and flipped short. I'm pretty sure we're going to bounce out this propulsion gap, but I'm waiting for the Nasdaq to make its mind up. it for the last 40 minutes hasn't had a clue. All it's done is basically missed a wick. Aussie dollar, US dollar. There we go. It's bang in the middle. Buying the propulsion gap. I can't, it's horrible not using an EA. I feel really naked. Why is that on a margin call? I've got 2 positions on. I might take a hit on this, I think. We'll see. Aussie dollar, US dollar. So yeah, don't know where this is going really. To be honest, it's sideways at the minute. Literally, you are going nowhere. So we are on day 5 now, basically, sideways. It's more of a sell than a buy, but only because I can see 2 John Wicks at the top. That's it. So I'd be bearish on it, but propulsion gap target there, propulsion gap target there, that's filled. Forget that one. That's gone. This was the ADR bounce today, wasn't it? Yeah. The trade was this morning off of ADR. That was your entry this morning. So I wouldn't trade it at the minute, unless you're going to go short into this bit. But is it worth it? Probably not. Euro pound, nothing on that one really. Euro pound very much the same. 5 days sideways. Beautiful. Be careful. I might get a little bit over leveraged here. I'm not gonna put another one on. I can't. I've got no margin. Look, I got 100 to 1 on this. Why is there so much leverage on the Dow? I'm using 28 grand in margin on 8.75 short. It's a lot, isn't it? Leave it for a minute. So euro pound sideways. No. It was a buyout of yesterday's low this morning, but that was it. So it's not going anywhere. We've got an upside target here to get filled potentially, and a 125 ADR potentially to the upside as well. And we've got that whacking great gap. So if anything, I would say it's a short. But that's going to require the pound to be strong and the euro to be weak, which at the moment is the opposite. So as you can see, this is really what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days sideways. Nothing. There's absolutely no reason to get in any direction on that at all. For me, anyway. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar retest to the upside on M15. I'm in a long on that at the minute. So basically longing out the support, RSI extension. So I'm looking for push up into that propulsion gap, 3/4 of an ADR. There's target. 33 pips is half an ADR, which is basically the top of that propulsion gap. So I'm looking for a move up into there. Again, just all sideways at the minute. That trade entry was this morning here. Euro CAD. There's a theme running here, isn't there? Sideways, not going anywhere. Don't you get off that high. Get off. Get down. Stay there. Euro CAD. Sideways. You got 2 targets on this one. I can't do the delete button because that will remove that. If I remove that, that will pop straight out the top. So I've got to leave that there. You've got a propulsion gap to the downside, propulsion gap to the upside, 125 ADR and 175 ADR. Again, 50-50 shot. Yeah, if you're trading from the middle of a range without any extensions on it, it could go either way at any point. And obviously you've got 2 currencies which have got the potential to strength. See, it works, does work, look. If I put, no, I won't put any more. That's probably 10 tons is probably enough. I was going to say I'll put another bit on there, but that should be all right. Oh no, I did the wrong bit. That might have ruined it. Look, it's coming back up. Make it super, super heavy. Don't know. One or the other. If you look at it on the 4 hour, I've got rid of my weight. Look, I do this automatic. Oh, look now. See? See? Literally, second I remove that weight, it's off. We're in an uptrend on this. So I've taken shorts there, which worked fine, and along there, which worked fine. So literally you can trade it in any direction at the minute, but it's not, you know, it's nothing's designed to trend at the moment. There's no advantage or disadvantage in any way, shape or form strong on anything. So just waiting for extensions to try and get some opportunities to get in anything at the minute, because the market's sideways and flat. So we are going to come up here and we're going to go down there. If you go long, brilliant. If it goes down here, enter it again and get out on its way back up to there. If you go short and it goes up, get in there. Yeah, it's just average into it. I don't know which way it's going. So I need this high to hold. Market structure at the moment is looking now like a buy at that propulsion gap to make a new high. Either that or we've put our peak formation for the day in and we're going to do that, break that propulsion gap and test the lows. It's just very difficult today. You are right on both. I just went long New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Hourly. I'm in a sell on that. So you're going long. So whichever way you look at this, it's going up, which is fine. But you are trading from bang in the middle of that range at the moment. So the odds of a trade winning from the middle of a range with a mean reversion or any trade at all is a very big strong 50-50. Yeah. From there, you've got a gap to the downside and a gap to the upside to target. But you've got this big gap down here we haven't touched yet, 225 ADR. So I would be much more short that. Look at the wicks. Just come out of an RSI extension. I'm in short one already from where the hell is that entry from? Couldn't find it. So I'm in short from there. Literally all we've done is that come straight up into the highs. So this is a double top sell down into that propulsion gap. Potentially that low, potentially that low. But if you look at the market structure, this is absolutely textbook market structure. If you wanted to give a lesson on market structure, low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, lower high, higher low, symmetrical triangle, break. Yeah. So structure started again, low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, or high, low, double top, double bottom. Those are your scenarios. One of those will work. I don't know which. If I knew that, as I say in here all the time, I would be a millionaire. Aussie dollar New Zealand. How's the hedging set file done this week? And do you put the EA on all 28 pairs, Stevie? Yes. At the moment, that is running on all 28 pairs. It has done. It keeps resetting itself. Every time it closes a trade, it resets. It's so annoying. It's just one of those things in MT4 that's just annoying. So it's done 15%. This week it's done 4.5%. We're sitting in 4.7 drawdown at the moment. So we got to just under 6% DD. Off of 16% return in 2 weeks. So 2 and a bit weeks, 2.5 weeks-ish. So yeah, it's doing all right. But I'm still waiting for something to squeeze a little bit. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. And this is why it's on all 28 pairs, is to test it thoroughly to make sure that it's managing everything as we need it to. And it's not got anywhere near anything that I would ever worry about. Obviously, because it's on 28 pairs, it's massively over leveraged. But it's doing well. The sentiment EA, everybody, I fixed the bug. So the sentiment EA, I fixed the bug. Look at what's happened since I fixed the bug. It's banking stuff. 5% DD. US dollar Swiss, it's about to bank on the next 4-hour close. CAD Swiss, it's about to bank on the next 4-hour close. So there's another $700-800 going in there. So there's going to be another 2K day. So yeah, I'm liking my sentiment EA again now. We will test it though, see how it goes. It's not finished. What's GU up to? Don't know. Let's have a look. Rather than know what the Dow's up to. Bearish at the minute. So I don't know. I took that short. I'm out. We've tested the propulsion gap. We haven't filled it. We've got these targets to the down. That's done. So we've got this target to the downside. Apart from that, this is totally efficiently traded. So this could just do what the hell it likes. However, this is the pound and the US dollar. So in theory, this should be coming down. The US dollar is strong. The pound is weak. For some reason, this is finding strength at the moment. So mainly on the US dollar weakness. So I don't know. At the minute, absolutely nothing. More of a sell. So second entry at ADR if you wanted to get into it, but just had a reversal alert short, but it's not really much of a reversal alert, is it? It's just a sideways, it's a flag break. So somewhere down here at some point, I reckon, but it's not really in a position I'd like to get into it at the minute. It's in the wrong place. Euro Swiss is meeting with Hades. Have we had an ADR on it? We haven't had an ADR on it yet. Can't be going that far. I'm out. There you go. Short, out, tick, another one. Same as that. Look at that. In, 1, 2, 3, out. In, 1, 2, oh, 3, out. Job done. What about the gold? Can you do your analysis on it, please? Mocha, have you been in here before? Mr. Wick. Still stuck. I don't know. It's not going anywhere, is it? Look. Asian range, London range, New York. Propulsion gap target to the downside. And then when you scale out and look at how much targeting to the downside there is, you'd be like, wow, this is a big short. There. Just down. But we're lacking US dollar strength at the moment. We've had negative news again on the US, which isn't helping at all. So PCE came out as negative. Revised Michigan came out as negative. It's all it's not looking as rosy for the US at the minute. So obviously this is US dollar cross. So we need some US dollar strength to drive it down. This is going nowhere today. I don't think we're going to get any movement on this. I think we might be having a flat session. So I might call it a day in a minute. Adam, kind of weird how the world works. Only been trading a couple of months. Blimey. And have been searching for a mentor on trading Forex. Very glad I found your channel. Helped me immensely. Good. That's the purpose. What would you advise for a basket of pairs to run the EA on to avoid doubling or tripling risk on one currency? So if you go and follow the signal from here, that one. So follow the signal there. Signal running the H1M5 is here. Yeah. So this is the H1M5 strategy. If you go to trading history, nope, statistics, these are the pairs it's loaded on. So it's very, very difficult to put the EA on a set of instruments that is not going to overexpose it, because you've got the majors all crossed with the US dollar. So the 7 major pairs are all US dollar crosses. So I've got it running on Euro US dollar, Pound US dollar, New Zealand Aussie, and US dollar CAD. So all the majors. What that means is when the US dollar has a squeeze, in one direction or the other, this is likely to get exposed. But we've got lots of other currencies obviously pushing against it as well. So it will get in and out of some of them, but some of them it will get squeezed on. So if you get a really, really massive squeeze on the US dollar, you will go into drawdown. There's nothing you can do about it. So it's also running on the Swiss yen. That gives me my Swiss and my JPY exposure in one instrument. Don't want to get overexposed on these two. These are safe haven currencies. So if you get overexposed on the yen or the Swissy and we get a safe haven run like the banking crisis we just had in the last 2 weeks, these two guys are going to pop hard. If you've got massive exposure on that in the wrong direction, it's going to hurt. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, that exposes yourself to the odd and the New Zealand dollar at the same time, which are the two main Australasian pairs, obviously. We've also got exposure on both of those against the US dollar, and we've got exposure on both of those against the euro and against the CAD. So the Aussie has quite a lot of exposure, the New Zealand has quite a lot of exposure, and the euro has a fair bit as well, as does the US dollar. So that pairing, all of those pairings work well, but you're always going to get some squeezes. So it's very, very difficult. What I do with my own accounts is I tend to work all the pairs. So like I'm doing on this Fiddlecrest account, the other one. No, the other one. Must be that one. Okay. So stopped out in the DAX. So yeah, like I'm doing on this one, look at the exposure there. I've got a little bit of US dollar exposure on. But basically, I'm getting in on extensions. But if, for example, right now, I'm in Aussie CAD, Aussie New Zealand, let's say Aussie dollar, US dollar, right? So let's say right now, a perfect H1 RSI extension comes up on Aussie dollar, US dollar. I wouldn't take it because I've got double exposure on that and I've got triple exposure on the US dollar. So getting myself into this is just adding to the exposure I've already got. So if I wanted to go long Aussie dollar, US dollar, for example, that would give me one more arrow there and one arrow there. So that's all right because I'm hedging. So it doesn't matter which way the US dollar goes. I'm going to make some money on some positions. Here, though, I'm triple exposing myself on the Aussie. So you've just got to think about it. If you put the EA on all 28 pairs and it starts to take trades, you can then go and pause all of the other ones that you're not in to make sure it doesn't trade them. When you get out of them, turn the rest of the EAs on. So my advice is put it on all of them, but let the EA get you into positions and then manually turn the EA off. So you've got to manage it. But there is no right or wrong way of doing it. It's however you want to, really, basically. But yeah, I mean, you could pick some pairs and make sure you don't expose yourself, but you'll probably find you can only trade really 8 currencies. And the thing about that is, yeah, so let's say you go, I'm going US dollar yen and I'm going pound yen. They're my yen pairs. What happens when the euro yen hits a hourly 80 RSI extension because the euro's popped and the yen hasn't? You can't take that, can you? You're going to miss that entry. What if that just goes bang, beautiful, one in, one out, straight down? You've missed that because you had the EA running on these two and you were going, I'm not going to trade any more yen. These aren't trading. So don't miss the opportunity just because the EA's running on another pair. Worst case scenario, if you get yourself overexposed on the US dollar like I am now, I can just shut US dollar CAD and go, whoops, and I'll take a 0.15 loss on the account. It's not the end of the world, is it? Because you're trading H1 and H4 timeframes, the speed you're getting into these entries is so slow. If you check your charts every 4 hours, you're going to find that it's enough for you to spend 5 minutes every 4 hours just to check what you're in and then turn things on and off. It's a very difficult answer, that one. I don't really know what the best way to do it is, to be honest. I used to manually trade all the time and it wasn't a problem. Like I'm trading on the Fidelcrest account now, I'm manually trading it. So it's not a problem. I just get into stuff. Dow's pushing on the highs. This isn't looking good today. Lagarde speaking in 22 minutes. Luke? 4 o'clock, yeah. I've been putting some on my demo. I've been testing results up in the Telegram room, and this was the next piece of the jigsaw. Cool. Hopefully that helps. It's a difficult one to do, though. You know, the whole premise of it is trying to manage risk. But and this is something you really don't get until you've been trading for ages. You've got to identify what the market conditions are as well. At the moment, the market is flat. So the way I measure the market is in ADR, obviously. So I know, because I've been trading for donkey's years, that this thing here, the pound New Zealand, goes up to 400. At the moment, it's sitting at 155. This tells me the market's flatlining. So if the market's flatlining, I'm not going to get many opportunities. So I need to take every opportunity I can find, because if I need to make money, I've got to get into everything. When the market starts to expand and we get these ADRs up, like where's euro pound on there? So euro pound is sitting at 52, which is pretty standard for that. But some of the others are sitting at levels where you're like, well, it's normally way bigger than that. So when that happens, you know that you've got to try and get yourself into more trades. And you know you're going to find a lot of this, which is absolutely beautiful, perfect trading conditions. We will get a sudden squeeze at some point, but all the time, these fundamentals are as they are, and we've got no talk of interest rates dropping. We're going to find this market isn't going to be able to do a massive move in either direction because there is no bias on anything. Everybody's inflation is in trouble. Everybody's interest rates are going up. Everybody's unemployment is going up. Everybody's GDP is coming down. Everybody is in a possibility of running into recession, except for the US dollar. So because of that, your bias scorecard is sideways for the vast majority of the market. And the buys and the sells are so weak. This goes up to 14. Yeah, we've got these two are +7s. That's the strongest possible thing we've got at the moment, is half of the possible strength of the market. It's just everything's flat. So, you know, what do you pick? You just got to jump on anything. Anything that gets extended, you know they're going to try and get some money out of it at some point. So you just get in it. But this is what will happen. All of a sudden, the US dollar, the US or the Fed will come out and say, we've hit terminal rate. Inflation has come down to such an extent now that we will be reducing our interest rates for the next 6 months. All of a sudden, the US dollar will drop and the euro or the pound will suddenly become the dominant currency, or the yen, or something will happen in the banking sector or the crypto sector or the housing market or a war or a natural disaster, or something will happen and money will flood into the yen. And all of a sudden we'll get really big, strong biases where you'll be able to say, right, I do not want to be going long on that thing anymore. That is a short only. But at the minute, everything's fair game. And at that point, this RSI will change back to a 21. And I will start to get into, it will need to get more extended and more extreme for me to start considering reversions on it. But right now, it's just flat as a pancake. So as you can see, look, gold for 2 weeks, nothing's happening. But banks in problem. But that will undo. Yeah. So, you know, those squeezes I got into, the Swiss squeeze, the CAD Swiss, that I no way of predicting that the SVB was going to collapse. No way. So I had to take a hit on that. Well, I didn't. I took about a $500 loss, but it's still a hit, isn't it? Nothing you can do about that. But this is what we normally see in the market in big, strong trends. But you look at any market at the moment on the 4-hour chart, we're not in big, strong trends. We're in collapse sideways. Yeah. This is, you know, look at the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar last year. We milked this to death. Literally milked it. Every pullback. It's like trading the S&P. Simple. You never sell it, you just buy it. Because the fundamentals on it were to long it. At the moment, the fundamentals on the Aussie New Zealand are to short it. So, you know, but not massively. Look, this is why we're getting that sort of movement. But intraday movement at the moment is absolutely solid. Look. You could literally flip a coin, press a button, and virtually be guaranteed to get out of it within 2 or 3 days. But that will change. And the first time we'll notice that changing is when I suddenly go, I'm in 15% of drawdown. Panic. You was right about New Zealand dollars, US dollar just tanked. Come back again though. It's a liquidity run. Look. I would hazard a guess that the retail market at the moment is shorting it. I'm going to be wrong now, aren't I? Marginal. So everyone just hit the short button on that. All their stops now are sitting up in that propulsion gap. So it'll probably go up there. They might bring it back down here before they go back up there. I don't know. How much risk are you using per pair on the hedging set file? I think it's 0.5%. Quarter of a percent, sorry. No, it's not. It's 0.2, I think. Hang on. 0.2, 0.2 on half an ADR. So a little bit less than normal. I normally risk 0.25 on half an ADR. That's a little bit less. Hedging is dangerous, can be. So if you ran that at a 0.1 risk, you would never have got anywhere near hitting a daily drawdown limit, and you would have banked 8 grand in 2 weeks. That's an evaluation pass without hitting target, without hitting drawdown on a 0.1 risk. Dow is going to stop out. I know it. It's just not able to get anywhere today. So it's just after that move, we've just got into bullish market structure, look. But if we get that high taken out, it will take me out, and then it will collapse and come down here. But I'm not going to risk it. It's Friday afternoon. It's not worth it. How much risk are you just on that one? Pushing something? Pushing something? Just did a search. Looks like Hanko might be the best choice for an overseas broker. I think I may deposit 1K and let the H4M5 run. Hanko. I've never traded with Hanko. I've heard of them, but I've never traded with them. So the difference between an ECN and an ECN plus, $1 per side. So commissions are less on an ECN plus. So if you can put $1,000 in, then obviously you're half the commissions. Indices. Right, so the only thing you need to be aware of with these guys is, hang on, ECN plus. Yeah, you can't trade micros on the indices. On the DAX, you can only trade singles contracts, same as you do on futures. So you can't trade any risk parameters on, so you can't scalp basically. So it's fine for position trading, but it's no use for scalping because you can't do micros. That's the only downside. Hanko Trade is very good. Excellent customer service. If I have to use customer service, I'm worried. I don't think you ever need to use customer service with your broker, do you? I suppose if something goes wrong. Going to purchase the opening range breakout. Is there a live where you use it? Every day. It's running here, look. This is it. It doesn't trade on this account because this is a position trading account, but it trades on my other accounts. But I give a commentary on here on what's happening basically. So your 5-minute opening range today, your pre-market 15 today was there, you went long, you would have come back and stopped out at break even. Your 5-minute opening range is there today. You are long. It's pulled back. You are still long, and you haven't gone anywhere. It's dead today. Nothing. ADR. Something's moved. Euro Swiss. There we go. ADR. So we're on our way down here. We're going to pull back into that. Mumo, I'm in the conclusion that the London session heard you. Oh, I was halfway through reading your comment then and it vanished. Obviously wasn't important. Just about to stop out in the Dow. You never know. I might survive. I might survive. We'll see. I didn't take that Euro Swiss today. So if we got a 125 ADR or 150 ADR on that today, I'd be interested in longing that. This is Swiss franc strength at the minute. So you can see all the Swissies, all the CAD Swiss, everything's coming down against the Swiss franc. So this is Swiss franc strength. So just piling into the Swissy for some reason. Not piling into the yen. So it's not a safe haven run. It's just powering the Swiss franc this afternoon. The only thing moving really, Euro as well is weak. Not very good market, is it? I survived. So we've got limit orders triggering at the high. See if they can hold the high. If they can hold the high, we're coming back down to there. We're not going anywhere today, are we? In the London session, heard you mention you'll trade the Dow and not the NAS in the New York session. Any particular reason? The NASDAQ basically has been way too volatile. So with the opening range breakout back testing, the NASDAQ came out on top as the most profitable with pretty much all the set files. So the return on drawdown on the NASDAQ was about 1 to 1.5 higher than the Dow and the DAX. And it also took a lot more trades. So what that tells you obviously is it's more volatile and it moves faster and harder. We know that. But the problem with this is there is a lot more stagnation in the NASDAQ because it goes sideways a lot more at the open as well, which means you get a lot more days where you're just grinding loss, waiting for those big ones to come in. And it's very frustrating to trade it. So my NASDAQ account is sitting in negative because we've had days. I mean, this is the thing. Look at today. There's your RRB on the NASDAQ today. Absolutely spot on. Look. So there's your ORB there. Didn't look back. 5-minute ORB, bang, 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 massive profit. Look at the Dow's 5-minute ORB. We're there. Yesterday, it was totally the opposite. The Dow opened and it went boing, 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 boing. The NASDAQ opened and it went like that. Just destroyed it. $2,000 loss. $2,200 loss yesterday. So I switch over to the Dow because I think the Dow's the one that's moving the most nice out of everybody. And then it does that. You can't win, basically. The opening range breakout, the whole premise and the whole edge of the strategy is you will get days where it goes into trend. The trend days you will clean up. You will make 5 to 7%, 10% profit. The days where it ranges, you will make somewhere in the region of 0.5% to 2% loss. So the edge is that these trend days, you have to get on them, you have to let them ride. But the range days, you're just going to sit through them. There's nothing you can do about it. So what I'm finding with the strategy, and this is what you find from strategies, when you're developing and backtesting strategies, they look amazing. And they have these beautiful profit curves. When you actually trade them live, it's massively frustrating. And this is why everybody system hops. So I'm not letting the opening range breakout strategy go because it works. It's got a long-term edge. It's been backtested to death. I've system parameter permutation tested it to death. Out of sample tested it. Multi-instrument tested it. It works. But because it uses a stop loss, it will have stagnation and losing periods. And that's what I find frustrating about the NASDAQ, is that it seems to have more of those. Whereas the Dow, although it has losing days, the losing days are less painful because it does this on its losing days. And you take maybe 1, 2. The NASDAQ, you could take 5 positions at the open and then it will go boom. And you'll miss that because you've hit your maximum loss for the day. And I don't think this does it as much. And the DAX doesn't do it as much either. The DAX is doing well. It's doing all right. It's not doing amazing though. You know, it's a slow burner. All those set files I published for the opening range breakout, they all make a lovely 20, 30% return a year. Break that down. What is it? 2 to 3%, 5% a month. It's not massive. It's designed to be put on prop and it will just sit there and grind out money over the year, but it's not going to make you every year a load of cash. It's come close to blowing one of my prop accounts as well, because it's had, what did it have? Four losing days on the trot, and it's set to 2.5k. It's actually set to 2.4k max loss. A bit like this. Well, exactly the same as this, but I've had to put another naught on the end of this because this is actually on a position trading account, but that's sitting at $2,400 negative. So when it gets to 2.4k, it closes the whole thing down, which means I can never hit my maximum loss. But it can have 4 days in a row where it has a nasty open, and you draw down by that, and then all of a sudden you have 2 big days where it gets the whole lot back, but this is the frustrating thing, and this is why the position trading course came about and why I position trade. That is a stop loss trader's P&L. Yeah, that is what a proper stop loss trader's P&L looks like. And it'll have stagnation like this, where you just go, this strategy is useless, and then it goes like that, and you're like, oh, all right, it's okay again. Drives you mental. Which is why I don't use a stop, because it doesn't drive me mental. That's what that video I put out yesterday was all about. You know, the psychology part. You cannot erase the human psychology, the human psyche. It's a massive part of trading. You're trying to execute orders and make money out of something you have no control over. Your brain is saying, I need to control this. You can't control it. And that's what frustrates everybody and why everybody system hops constantly, because you get a system like the opening range breakout, you go, wow, that's amazing in backtesting. You put it on an account and it has 4 losing days. And you go, nope, not trading that anymore. And then 2 days later, it's made 15 grand. And you're like, damn. So you put it back on and it has 2 losing days. And you're like, no, I knew that was crap. You miss out on the next 3 winning days in a row that make 21 grand. Because you hop, because it has a little bit of a loss. Position trading is totally different, isn't it? We're consistently making money every day, but we're managing a pot of loss. It's so much easier to psychologically manage that than it is to manage constantly being kicked in the back by something you know can make you money. Like the Dow is about to smash my stop loss. Yeah, look, there you go. Using a stop loss. Not using a stop loss. I've got it all back. I can close this out now and go flat for the day and walk away Friday. I'm not going to, but stop loss, no stop loss. It's just pain, no pain. What can you do though? Prop firms need a stop loss, so you have to use them. Should we just watch this stop me out and then I'll go? You watch this now, do this for the next hour. I've got to go to a spin class. So, oh, here we go. It's taking the high. I'm out. I will be in a minute. There we go. Pop off. Right, done. Sell, stop, cancel. See, this is the type of day, yeah. So if you have put the opening, if you've got the opening range breakout running on the Dow, which I have at the moment on my other account, it's sitting there at the moment in 0.1, it's not even that, 0.07 profit. I've been sitting here for an hour and a half. I'm in 0.07 profit because I took an opening range breakout to the upside. But since it entered that trade, it's done nothing. Now it's going. See? Let it do its thing and it will return money. Put a human being in charge. This is exactly the premise of that video I released yesterday. Human being in charge. EA. Yeah? EA is not going, oh, I think this, I think that. Oh, look, John Wick's entered the building. Oh, I like that propulsion gap. The EA's gone. There's an edge in an opening range breakout if you play it over a year, and it's just doing it. But it uses a stop loss, and it will frustrate you. There's nothing you can do about that bit. From today's data, Dixie should be bearish. Today's data wasn't the revised University of Michigan. You can ignore. PCE was a 0.1 miss. It's irrelevant. It's in some inconsequential move. It's negative, but it's not bad enough to drop the dollar to any extent. Yeah, look at what's happened since PCE came out. Yeah, if it was going to make an impact, you'd be gone by now. It's not important. That explains a lot. Been getting hammered on the NAS. I thought my set file had gone nuts. No, it's just look at the. I think I've said this in here before, haven't I? But look at the backtest results for the opening range breakout. All of the set files. All of them. Beautiful long-term edge. All of them using a stop loss. All of them getting stopped out. Stagnation. Yeah, lovely run up. From there until there, you are stagnated. You're not making any profit. From there until there, you're not making any profit. So when you look at a P&L, you plot the highs. Yeah. So I started here, I made profit. I increased my account, increased it, increased it, increased it, increased it, increased it, increased, increased, increase, 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 increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times. Why am I holding up 3 fingers? 13 times in the year, we made a profit. Once a month. But every day, it's not going to happen. You're using a stop loss. You're using a stop loss on a random instrument. There's absolutely no way you can say, I'm going to draw out X income from anything you trade in the market with a stop, because the market will give you what it gives you when it gives it to you. You have no control over when that happens. And the ORBEA takes advantage of the fact that the market has explosive moves at the open of the stock market in certain conditions on certain days at random points throughout the year. But it can't predict which one it's going to need and when. So you just have to play the edge. And that's what trading is, picking strategies that have edges. These have all got edges. Every single one of these set files has an edge in the market. Some of them will be more hideous than others. You tend to find the most hideous ones are the ones that make the most profit, like this one. Here. Yeah. Actually, that's not great. 2.82. But that one, 4.5, that's the PM add-on on the NASDAQ. Yeah, so this is pushing winners. But look what happens when it Look at these stagnations, these drawdowns, look. Got to sit through all these, yeah? These are a week at a time, maybe. You've got to sit through all these drawdowns to make your money. But this, you know, I don't hide anything with anything I do. Yeah, back testing's there. You can see exactly what you should expect. The trouble is, people see this, they buy it, and they go, "Oh, that's amazing," or they use whatever, and they go, "Oh, it's lost 5 times." Yes, I have it. People message me in Telegram. The opening range breakout EA is not working. It's like, why is it not working? It's lost 3 times. It's like, yeah, of course it has. You're using a stop loss. What are you expecting to do? Not get stopped out? Have you not watched any of my material? It's harsh truth, but it's, you know, that, and that's what frustrates me about this strategy. It's a brilliant strategy, but it's just like trading it is, it's lovely. Profit. Sitting now, money, I've got money. I can close that right now and bag 230-ish, $220. But it's Friday afternoon. This thing could go mental, couldn't it? I have no idea what's going to happen. But if I bank $200 now and this thing goes mental, I'm going to be very cross. So I'm going to let it run. And it's going to trail my stop at that. And it's just going to keep trailing that stop. Yeah. And it might come down and stop me out for absolutely nothing. And if it does, it does. That's part of the edge. The fact that I have days where I get stopped out of break even, I don't make a loss. And that's all part of the edge. Not making a loss is part of the winning edge as well, as having break evens, losses, and wins. It's all goes in the pot. It's a mathematical edge. That's literally it. I'm struggling with trending days. I feel like I want to exit very quickly, but the price just keeps moving in one direction and I could have made a lot of money. So bank money and be happy. Have you watched the Bootcamp, Timo? I don't trade trends. There's a reason. 80% of the time, the market is in mean reversion mode. It's doing that, it's doing that, or it's doing that. 20% of the time, the market is trending. So what you are trying to do is extract an edge from a 20% edge in the market. I'm extracting an edge from an 80% edge in the market. So I have 80% opportunities, you have 20% opportunities. No wonder you're finding it difficult. You're going to stop out on 70% of trend trades because the strike rate is 30%. And you're also trading only 20% of the opportunities available in the market. This is why trend traders fail most, because it's the most difficult thing to do. Because what will happen in a trend trader is you take a breakout, doesn't hit your stop, it pushes, you move to break even, it stops you out, and then it goes. You make no money. You do that 5 times, you get stopped out 5 times, and then it flies and you miss it. And what you do every time a trend goes, you have to bank it when you get to the point of all of your losses to make yourself break even. So what you end up as a trend trader is in a cycle of a P&L that looks like this. If you're lucky. Because you will lose 60 to 70% of your trades. And to get, let's say, for example, you lose 3 trades, right, at 1%. You now need a 4R trade to get yourself back to break even +1. How hard is that? What I need as a mean reversion trader is for the market to stay within its average daily range, which it does 58% of the time. And all I want it to do is move 50% of its average range in a day. I'm targeting half an average day's range in movement as my P and as my profit. And the market stays within that for 58% of the time, while it's spending 80% of its time in a state of mean reversion, which keeps this statistic alive. That's why that happens, because I'm trading the way the market moves. You're trying to catch some rocket with no idea when someone's going to press the button. And when that rocket takes off, and you see that dollar sign, the first thing you want to do is grab the dollars, forgetting about all the losses you've made. And you're like, phew, I had the $1,000. I went down to 750. And now I've got $1,000 again. I'm a winner. No, you're not. You're just losing constantly and getting your money back. You're a break-even trader at best. I don't know anybody that makes money trend trading, apart from S&P investors. Just can't do it. It's too hard. Stop it. There's a video. I don't know if you've seen it. I spend half the time showing people videos on the website, but go and watch this video. That will explain everything you need to know about trend trading, and then you'll stop doing it. Not making a loss is half the battle. You eliminate your losses, you're right. So let's say, for example, you're a break-even trader right now. What would happen if you eliminated half of your losses? You're profitable. And half of your losses will come from trying to catch those trends, and half of your losses will be break-even and small losses because you've moved to stop loss. You've basically put an order there to say, get me out the market just before you pop, won't you? All right, I will. It's not until you think about what you're doing when you're trend trading, you are trying to basically get yourself out of a trade in something you know is going to happen. So if you are good at predicting trends and you get into one, the first thing you do when you get into profit is protect your capital. The first thing the market does is come down and take your capital and then go off in the direction you thought it was going to go. Break even, stop losses. We know how the market moves. I'm called the market structure trader. I know damn well how the market moves. What I know is it's very difficult to extract it from that. But as long as it does this market structure thing, I know that there's going to be a point in time where the market will revert back to its mean, where I can extract my money. I get stuck in trends and they hurt when they come. Nothing I can do about them. Look, bank 1.39% today. Still in 3.5% of drawdown. All this is doing is going up, and all this is doing is staying roughly where it is, because the market does that. If I was trying to catch the trends, I'd be sitting here 80% of the time going, think about a range. What was that one we looked? That'd be a broker. It's a suspected spam. What was that one we looked at? New Zealand or CAD, wasn't it? Yeah. So look how many trades I've had on this. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 trades, 100% success rate. If you're trying to trend trade this, you're buying the pullback. You bought the breakout. It failed. You bought the attempted second breakout. Failed. You're not going anywhere. So you start range trading it. Oh, failed. Yeah. So the trend trader and the breakout trader lost. They had another crack at that. Yeah. And then they thought, oh, we're in a range. So what I'll do is I'll buy it here because we're going to come back up to here. And then it came and took out their stop. So now what they're doing, thinking, all right, okay, well, it's a breakout short. I'll go short here. Where do you think this is going next? Yeah. If you try and catch a breakout or you try and catch a trend, you are literally putting an order in the market where it's going to go next in the opposite direction virtually all the time, which is why I made that video yesterday about how all strategies are utterly useless, because this thing will go where the liquidity is, and you don't know where the liquidity is because you're not a bank. So if you know the banks are going to do this, and you know the market's going to go up and down within a distance constantly, just stick within that distance and you'll virtually always be fine. Yeah, this is why I did all of my research on it. I spent not years, but a long time researching average daily range. I did 15 plus years of back testing on every instrument out there to prove average daily range theory. And that's why it works, because the market has to stay within a range, because the market hasn't got an endless pot of cash. So it can't move it forever in one direction unless there's some kind of fundamental thing that puts everybody on one side at the same time and drives it, which is what we call news. At that point, then the people that have driven it are making so much money, they need to take profit on the move. It's just logic. Everything I do is logic. It's simple logic. But everything everybody else seems to do is try and catch a 10-to-1 winner and wonder why they don't do it. Why can't I catch these 10-to-1s? Everybody posts these 15-to-1s. Why can't I get them? Because you weren't seeing the 25 attempts they had to get on that 15-to-1, which all ended up as stops. They don't show you those. Like there's a trend goes like that. But before it, you got that. So the bloke posts a picture of that trade and goes, I am amazing. I made 10x return on this trade. What he doesn't show you is the loss, trying to catch the breakout. That looks great on paper, doesn't it? Come and buy my signals. You buy his signals and that happens. If he was position trading, he'd have made 10x there and 1x there. He'd have made 11x return. But, you know, sorry, I'm in sarcastic mode now. It's Friday afternoon, the market's not moving, and I'm stopped out on that one. So, ignore me. Is it possible to include directional bias filter to determine ranging pairs in the market reversal? That's the aim now. I'm not mucking about with the MRA. It's a totally different strategy. It's a different thing. Are you still in your NAS trade? And what are your plans before the close of the day? I'm off spinning in a minute. Got to spin clock. Oh, got to go now. I'm not in a NAS trade. Have not been in a NAS trade, no. Haven't traded the NAS today. I've been trading the Dow. I'm in this long, but I also got stopped out of a short on my Fiddlecrest account. So I'm out of this one. I need my 50-50 wick. You're right. He doesn't fit on the page properly. You can't see him because of this, look. There we go. 50-50, your call, Mr. Wick. Doesn't fit, does he? He doesn't fit. Tim, your question hasn't gone through. I don't know. You have to ask it on Monday. I've got to go, guys, because I've got a spin class to get to. So I'll be back Monday, 7:50, same time, and 2:20 on Monday afternoon for the NASDAQ, or, well, I'm not trading the NASDAQ anymore, for the PM session, the New York session. If you need anything, I'll be in the Telegram group. Go and join the Telegram group. There's links coming along the bottom to everything you need to know. So hopefully you have a good weekend. I will shut down anything I've got in profit. Will I? Probably not. Nothing really worried about. So yeah, have a nice weekend, and we'll see you on Monday, and we'll see if we can extract some more cash. New month. This month's over. Go and do your P&L. Go and drag all your trades onto your charts. Make sure you know where you went wrong, where you went right. Yeah, and have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday.